It's a match that everyone wants to win, everyone wants to be part of it.
Well, it's one of the biggest titles that you can win in individual match fishing.
It's the biggest competition in angling, biggest prize money, it's the one to win.
I suppose it would mean everything. It's one of the major ones in the fishing calendar.
It's my lifelong ambition to win it originally, and now to win it twice would be even better.
It's taking fishing in the right way, and this is the one competition that, you know, everyone wants to be in.
Throughout the summer, the top competition anglers in the country have been battling it out for a place here, the Maver Match This finals. There's 24 of them here today looking for a payout of a cool £65,000. This is Mega Match This.
The winner, 2014 Match This champion, Chris Cameron.
Is there a chance that lightning can strike twice, do you reckon?
Hopefully, that's the plan. You know, I wouldn't say no, so...
What are the tactics going to be today then?
Very similar to last year. Due to the weather being a bit cooler, I'm hoping the fish will be on the bottom, so I'm going to fish the method and a bomb, but I'll start on the pole, see if what's about to start with and judge it from there.
You always seem, to me, when I watch you in a number of events, like a very smooth, calm machine, and you don't seem to be flappable. What's it like being on the inside of your head?
A mess. No, it's not too bad. I've been in a lot of finals now, and I think I'm used to it, and it all just comes together in the end.
Ben, second time here, happier end of the lake this time, no Peg 9, in the zone.
Yeah, absolutely, a lot happier. Never really at the races last year. Just had to sit up there and watch everyone down here catch. So, hoping this year it'll be different, and hopefully I might be the one weighing in some fish this year.
What's going to be tactics?
Mainly what Chris Cameron did last year, method feeder and long pole.
Well, Brian, big event.
Yep.
Big day for you.
Massive day for me, yeah.
And a massive peg as well.
Yeah.
It's the one everybody wanted. How does it feel to be in this one?
Well, obviously it's an honour to be in the final. Pick out a peg like this. To be honest with you, when I drew peg 12, it meant nothing to me until everybody told me that that was one they wanted.
Does that add any pressure to you, do you think?
No, none whatsoever, no. None, no pressure on me at all. Day's fishing, bigger dramas in the world than a fishing match.
Well, joining me on the bank today is an expert not just in Match This, but more particularly on this venue, Andy Kinder.
Hi, Rob.
Pleasure to have you with us.
Yeah.
Now, let's have a look at the venue itself. We're on the Match Lake. Bit of a lake of two halves, people tell me.
Yeah, bit of a lake of two halves. So people are saying, you know, the top end's not had a lot of form recently, Rob. But I do feel today, with this cold northerly wind we've got down it, it's a lot warmer at that lake. There could be a few surprises, I think. But this end, it's had all the form recently. Pole Championships Festival, been a lot of fish down this end and towards the island. It's been really, really good.
It's quite a different lake to last year, though. The island down there had lots of trees around it. Now it's very, very clear. Also, this wind, we've mentioned it, you won't be able to see it or feel it, should I say, on the television, but it does actually feel quite chilly. It's blowing northerly-ish. That's taking cold air down there, so whilst it's the favoured area, it's a different lake to normal.
Yeah, like I say, it is a different lake to normal, and it is a cold wind. It's early September, and you know the first signs of autumn are here now, and like it could have a bearing on the fishing, definitely.
Well, let's have a look at the fishing itself. Talking about the lake again, when you look at the topography, this side fairly shallow going out, the other side, the Burbank, that's actually been put in. This all used to be one lake, didn't it?
Yeah, it all used to be one lake.
Split the lake in two.
Yep.
And that side is deeper than this side, and that has an effect.
that does have an effect. The far bank, or the burr bank as we call it, there's a lot of deeper water closer in, and the big fish tend to hug the near bank, like short pole line, 5-6 metre line, margins. Margins will definitely come into play on that far bank, and I could potentially, the winners never come from that bank, but I think this year it could throw some surprises up, really could.
I was going to say exactly the same thing, because to me, that far bank in these conditions under the edge, you know, back end of the competition, it's going to be an absolute sprint finish over there, and it's going to be big fish that decide this match without any shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, there's some massive fish in this lake now, Rob. You know, they're touching 15 pounds, some of them, and one or two of these lads, you know, get into this with an hour to go. £100 is easily possible if the lads can like nail these margin fish late.
Let's have a look at the man in front of us down here. Now, this is permanent Peg 16. Which most match anglers will recognise as 16, but for the purposes of the competition, it's Maver Match This Peg 6, and it's our defending champion, Chris Cameron. He won it last year, more or less from around here anyway, and he's back in a similar zone. And I call this the golden triangle. This is the area where people want to be very consistent.
Yeah, very consistent area on the lake. 12 months of the year, you would sit on this peg. This peg, the next peg, you would sit here, and Chris has got a fantastic chance of defending his title and walking away with 65 grand.
Now, that'd be massive. He won 60 grand last year. He's not going to be Phil Briscoe's favourite person, is he? I've just heard Phil shout 2 minutes to the off now. You've been in big competitions like this. You've actually been in this finals as well. What are the guys going to be thinking at the moment? Are they going to be nervous?
There'll be some nerves. There'll be some nerves jangling. Some people calm as anything, but nerves will be jangling with people. But as soon as you get fishing, all that will go out of the window and they'll be into battle. No two ways about that.
Now, I mention it again, the golden triangle, this area that we like. And who has Chris Cameron got opposite him? Perry Stone came second last year from that very same peg as well. Now, lightning strikes twice as far as the draw's concerned, but he wants to go one better. Yeah. Second's not going to be good enough.
Yeah, Perry's always the bridesmaid, never the bride, but he's got a very good chance this year, as Perry Stone. And real confident angler, positive angler. He'll be fishing all out to win. No two ways about it. He don't like coming second, and he's already said to me he wants to win this one.
It's going to be a brilliant battle between these two, particularly because I think that Chris will probably start stronger and Perry will probably finish stronger.
Yeah. So he's going to be the forerunner. He's going to be chasing him all the way.
Absolutely. So it's going to be a marvellous battle down here. So we'll talk just a little bit more about the battle in this triangle and who have we got next door to Chris Cameron. My word, we've got the man that's been on the podium here 3 times. It's his 4th time. He's won it beforehand. He wants to be the first man to win it twice. You can never ever bet against him. It's Andy Power.
Andy Power. What can you say about the lad? The lad's just awesome. Awesome.
And there we are, it's off.
But yeah, Andy Power is just an exceptional commercial. He is probably the best commercial angler in the country as we speak at the minute.
See the first fish of the competition being landed over on Peg 15, which is Kerry Kirkwood. Ben Fisk, Peg 9. Another man on this bank on the pole, not starting on the pole over on this side, and he's got a reasonable fish. He's got the island chuck in front of him. There's been a few fish moving around there. We spoke to him earlier. He was quite happy with the peg that he's got. Fished it last year. Not so happy then, opposite end of the pond. Out of the action, but well and truly in it today.
Good peg, he's Peg 9, Rob. He's got every chance of winning it from there. Feel a bit sorry for Ben. He's not had a chance to get down and practice. He's been really ill. He's been in hospital. And at least he's drawn a good peg.
Flick back to Andy Power there, and he's take our eyes off him for 1 minute, and he's in straight away.
Yeah, straight in. He's got one of the new stock fish. They're £1, £1.50 a piece. Like I said, they like to live in them pads, Rod. He's capitalised on that straight away and got one. This match today, no two ways about it. Whoever keeps putting a few fish in the net through the early part of the match, and hopefully get them margin fish, he'll be walking away with this.
Just looking across at Alix Feeny there, standing up, a very decent competitor. Only a young lad as well, 20 years old, youngest competitor in this at the moment.
20. Alix has put a lot of time in on this lake, Rob. He's been down on all the open matches. He's caught a lot of fish. He's done well. He's framed in numerous occasions. He was feeling really confident this morning, and he's on a good peg as well. He's permanent Peg 44, which is a great area of the lake again.
It's brilliant fishing, isn't it? Just the opportunity for youngsters like Alix to come into the big arena and fish against the likes of Andy Power. You know, some of the biggest winners are up against some guys that are, you know, just starting out in their careers, and it's fantastic. It doesn't happen in many other sports that you can actually compete at the highest level.
Yeah, yeah. He'll not be bothered about Andy Power, not in any way, shape or form. You know, he'll think I can beat him. He'll be sat on that bank now, having that fishing and that, thinking I can win this. I can beat anybody on this bank. He's beat over 100 people to get here. So one of the match, 24 anglers. He'll know he can beat them.
Interesting as well that we've spent a bit of time looking at Perry, at Chris and at Andy in this area directly under the main stage, and it's actually probably one of the quieter areas at the moment we've seen. Not that much action.
Yeah, not that much action, which does surprise me, but you've seen it, Rob, numerous times, that when they turn up, they'll be here. They'll turn up for these lads, no two ways about it.
Now this is supposedly the quiet end of the pond, and Sam Brown down there is just landing one, but he's already hooked a couple of big fish as well, and that's not a bad size.
That is a good size fish. Yeah, great angler, Sam. Absolutely fantastic angler. I do a lot of fishing with Sam, and I'll let you in at this point. Me and Sam have put a lot of time in together on this. We were a bit gutted when he drawn last night. I had to have a little quiet word with him, but it's nice to see he's catching a few fish, and he's a positive angler, Sam. He'll not let it get him down. And he's catching some fish, so that's a good sign.
I'll tell you what is interesting, there's fish on the top down here. You can see cruisers down here, and it's just the back of the wind. Yeah. And it is a cold wind, this. There's a lot of coats on around the pond, and those fish are up on the surface down towards this end. So
yeah, I think we said it, didn't we?
You might be able to catch them quicker, eh?
Yeah, we said it before the start, though, didn't we? That, you know, them fish could potentially back out of this cold northerly wind what we've got, and early stages of the match like this, it's proving a point they are.
Kerry Kirkwood there just landing a fish, and he's absolutely flying at the moment, Andy.
Yeah, he is definitely our leader at this stage. I don't think they're massive fish what he's catching, but he's constantly putting something in the net, so he's definitely the early leader as we speak.
And as we look over there now, we can see Perry Stone has started to catch. He had a very slow first 30 minutes. He had a couple of kicks when 2 fish fell off, but he's now started catching. Little change in tactics, bit of a micro adjustment on a rig, and that might make a big difference because a couple fell off, but he's caught one. He's now got another one on, and he's targeting the bigger fish as well.
Yeah, he's a positive angler, this Perry. Like I say, he hates coming second. He fishes to win, this Perry, and he'll be all out trying to nail this one. He wants this title so bad, this Perry.
My name's Perry Stone. I'm 50 years old. I'm a window fitter from Surrey. I take my fishing very professionally, but at the end of the day, it's another match. So my friends and people that know me know I'm capable of winning any match on the right peg on the right day, but there's 24 blokes here that can all do the same. If I won it, it would mean everything. I've been trying since the competition started. I was second last year in the final. I made a few mistakes last year, so hopefully if I get a peg that's worth it, I won't make them mistakes, and I really do want to win this one.
The old bomb and pellets working for the big fella down here at the moment. Another one pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's his method. He's made it his own. I've not seen anybody else on this match fishing a bomb and pellet today, other than Perry Stone. So, you know, that's his second in as many casts. Could be a big F1.
Another good fish. That's £10 in 10 minutes.
£10, 10 minutes, thank you very much.
Jon Whincup's been very consistent, actually. He's had a good mid-stage on this.
Yeah,
small fish again, but very, very consistent.
Yeah, I had a chat with Jon just as he come up. He was admitting to £20 and just got another fish. So he's well in the race, no two ways about that. And
What are we looking at now for averages? £30 probably towards the top end, which I would say.
Yeah, £30 is probably winning it. There'll be a few other people like close to 20. So yeah, I would have said £30 winning the match at this stage.
I've got a tenner on that man over there, and he's actually chipping back up again now.
Yeah,
so I'm quite happy with it.
he's making a little bit of a charge as we speak into his young hander. He's playing another fish now. Away we go.
You know, he's the sort of bloke that you can never, ever, ever write off. And while he started slow, when he gets his running shoes on, he can catch up and pass very quickly.
Yeah, you take your eyes off him for a second and he's gone, innit? And like I say, he is the most consistent commercial angler on the scene as we speak. And just fantastic. The kid is an awesome, awesome, talented angler.
Let's have a look at Perry Stone now. Perry's tactics are paying off. He's out on the bomber pellet, fishing for the slightly bigger fish again.
Yeah, I always thought this match would be won by somebody fishing either a method feeder or a bomb rather than pole. Pole early, method feeder or bomb for 2 or 3 hours of the match. Catch your margin fish.
That's bouncing around a lot, and Perry's lost a couple of fish already. You know, we did speak to him and he said he had a really good time last year. He came second, but the thing that cost him the title was the fact that he lost too many fish, and his main aim today is not to lose fish, and he's already lost 2 today.
He'll not be fishing for second today, no two ways about
that. Fish just keeping deep directly under his feet there. It's a long way down off that platform.
Yeah, they're really deep pegs close in. This is what I'm saying, you know, why we think there'll be some fish coming in the margins, because you've got the depth this side rather than the grass bank.
Good boil on that as well, that's a decent carp that.
Proper scrappers, the carp in here, Rob, as well, you know, they never know when to gain.
Get sight of that fish in a moment. It's just up towards the surface there, and this is crucial stage.
There we go.
Stocky carp, a couple of £3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bigger than that actually when it comes out.
Could be £4 that.
Perry Stone is into another carp very, very quickly. And he's just wandering down there now to find out from his bank runner what the weight is. But with these 3 fish, you know, Perry could well have gone from 0 to hero very quickly. And if Perry gets this method going, and he's been working very hard at it for that first hour, it's another good carp. If he gets this method going, he could be on an absolute steam train. £65,000 at stake at the moment. Nearly 2 hours of the competition taken, not halfway yet. But we have a man here who is flying at the moment. 3 casts, 3 big fish. And that one's safely in the net. Ripple of applause. Kerry Kirkwood up there, 2 pegs up.
Yeah, we certainly had him as the early leader, and he's playing another fish now, Rob. So he's putting something in the net, something constantly going in there. Not massive fish, like we said, but £1.5, £2.
Tommy Pickering's rule: don't reel in without something on the end.
Yep.
Jamie Wilde down there on peg 1. He's down in that sunny corner. It looks quite pleasant down there. If we go down there, Andy, you'll have to get your shorts on.
Yeah, I think we'll go down that corner for a warm, Rob, later, because it's certainly cold on this bank at times with the wind, isn't it? Yeah, I don't think he's caught lots of fishes, Jamie, but he keeps creeping the odd one in.
Of course, we've got the big prize, the 65 grand. We've also got the match for the stoppers, but there are sections on this too, aren't there?
Sections.
And, there's a bit of money up for grabs in the section, so even if you're not on the pace for the main competition, if you're in one of the quieter sections, there's still money up for grabs.
Yeah, £1,000 every 6 pegs.
It's not a bad day's work, is it?
It's not a bad day's work for somebody, is it?
5 to 1 chance of a grand.
Yeah,
You'd do that every day.
I'd take that, yeah.
Do you see him playing the fish in there on the pole? He's using his puller kit. He's pulling in some of that elastic. A lot of the guys are very light today.
Yeah, a lot. Seems to be the in thing now, Rob. A lot of people fish lighter and lighter elastics.
It's a big fish actually,
Yeah,
for a
good
light
fish.
elastic, that.
Proper kipper.
That'll do him well in that section. Just looking up at the youngster there, Alix Feeny.
Yeah,
Another lad that's done very well. He's got a fish on the pole at the moment. We see the orange of his elastic being stretched to its limit as he's playing a fish. Looks to be a fairly smallish carp, but he's done very well. First time in the finals here.
He's certainly not let it overawe him, has he? No two ways about it, and he's catching a lot of fishes, Alex.
He's got a great battle going on with Kerry Kirkwood next door as well. They're almost fish for fish in the first hour. They went through the doldrums in the early part of the second hour, but they both put the foot down again. They're both catching.
Yeah, they both catch it. Both living near each other, so they know each other. So they, I think we're a bit of a private battle between them here. I think pound side bets, no doubt.
Peg 18 now. This is Frankie Gianoncelli. First time in the finals, and he's had a bit of a torrid start coming up to the halfway stage, and he's only been able to pick skimmers up until now. And let's have a look at this. He's had a swoop at that one, but just missed it. Could be an anxious moment for Frankie now. He had the opportunity of trying to net that, but just missed it. Fish wasn't ready, and it's taking line off him, whereas the fish moves away, and this time it's going to the left. Tip down, netted it ready, rod going out. And there we see the fish, and he's got it this time. Second time of asking, that's a decent carp. Bomb and pellet tactics, but instead of a pellet on the hook, he's got a very small 8mm pink boilie, and it's certainly doing the trick now. He's into the bigger carp.
All 24 finalists have done all the hard work and won very large competitive qualifying events. So if you ask me who's going to win it, it could be any one of the 24. But if the draws are right, anglers like Perry Stone, polished professional, likes the big event, and of course Andy Power, he's such a good angler. I've never seen so much talent before in my life, and that guy will be comfortable on literally any peg, and if he draws here in the middle of the lake or any of the end pegs, then watch out for Andy Power. He's going to be very, very dangerous. It's going to be a game of two halves. What we found over the last few weeks is a lot of the fish have been swimming around shallow. It's a rather strange summer that we've experienced. A lot of fisheries have probably suffered the same in that the fish have swum around shallow. Then they become difficult to catch. Now the last week, temperatures have dropped, there's less fish showing, so hopefully more fish will feed on the bottom. But it is very much going to be a game of two halves. Why? Because whatever they catch in the first couple of 3 hours is going to be a bonus. It's what they're going to catch in that last 2 hours of the competition. It will be won in that last 2 hours of the competition. If they get it right down their margins, they could be looking at lifting the Match This trophy. Yeah, we're into our 5th year now, and the competition's grown steadily each year. Qualifiers have increased, the numbers fishing the qualifying events. There's more and more talk and hype about Match This. It is an event everybody wants to win. They want that on their portfolio, they want that on their CV. You ask the angler how important's the money, which is of course a big price of 65,000. Of course they want the money, but everybody that I've spoken to has said basically it would be great to have it on their CV and be a Match This winner.
It's about halfway through the game now, and you know what, it's been pretty tight so far, but the day is changing, isn't it? The weather's getting a bit better as well for a start.
Yeah, weather's changing, Rob. That cold northerly wind what we had this morning, which was it was bitterly cold has changed, and it's dropped, and it's now gone warmer, and there's some fish starting to feed now, I think.
That's going to make for a very interesting back half of the competition, actually, because we know on the grassy bank it's quite shallow. That had a cold wind over the top of it, and I, for one, didn't think back then, earlier in the morning, that the margins would play ball. But actually, we've seen a few fish in this end where the sun's been on. They've been cruising around on the surface. You know what? The margins might come into play.
Them fish love to come into the edges. The grass bank, they love it. They will come into the edges, no doubt. And I think, you know, the next half of the match, we're going to see people start to catch some margin fish.
Let's have a look at the half that's gone so far, though. Kerry Kirkwood.
Definitely race leader at this stage. He's certainly got £40, and he's the one they're all chasing. No two ways about that. They're the one. You've got to catch him to win the match.
Perry Stone's not far behind.
Perry Stone, he's certainly up there. He's hot on his tail. No two ways about that. He's up there, not quite as much as Kerry, but he's well in the running.
We've seen a good scrap between Kerry and the lad next door as well, Alix Feeny.
Yeah, young
They've
Alix.
been fish and fish.
Yeah, young Alix, 21-year-old. He's not been fazed by the competition one bit, and he's gone fish for fish with Kerry. Slightly less than Kerry, but he's giving him a good run for his money. It is between them three as we speak.
Chris Cameron and Andy Power, they've had a bit of a mare, really.
Yeah, you know, I think we expected a lot from Chris and Andy, and like, it's not really happening in them pegs, which is funny, really. I expected it. We all did, didn't we? I expected him to be a real battle going on between them, but it's just not quite happened. But I think it could still happen from there with this weather changing.
Seems to be Burbank action now. I'm going to throw a few other names in the pot that I think we've got to look out for. Brian Loader, up on the favourite peg. You know what? The change of weather, he's had an absolutely dire early part. He's caught one or two fish, 20, £25 maybe. But with the change in weather, I reckon that swim might well pull in.
Yeah, all of a sudden, the way things have gone, could have gone perfectly right for Brian. He's sat up there, he's got a little bit of room, edge of that island, he's kept himself to himself, and I think we're going to see things start happening on 28 peg, definitely.
There's also another guy that's just coming onto the radar a little bit, Frankie Gianoncelli.
Yeah, young Frankie, he knows how to catch some fish, and he's just started getting bites on a short line, which didn't to start with, and suddenly he started to catch a few. So, you know, he's now going to be starting to push these leaders as well. And I think it's wide open. It's wide open between 5 or 6 people, I think.
Absolutely. Well, there we are. That's the expert view on the first half of the game. We've got the second half, and it's going to be a very, very different second half as well. It feels a lot warmer. The wind's changed direction, and of course the edge will come into play. There's 65,000 quid up for grabs for the winner. A few £1,000 dotted around for other people in their sections, and also for second and third. So there's an awful lot still to play for. Now here's a man that's had a bit of a charge actually in the latter stages. That's Pete Upperton, and look at that, he's playing another one.
Pete Upperton has literally come from nowhere, and he's catching down his edges.
Just look at the lake now though, it's a very different lake to what it was earlier. The sun's out, it's not quite flat calm, but there's a lot of flat water there, and we can see fish moving all over the place.
Fish now suddenly moving everywhere, Rob, isn't there? And like I said, Pete is one of the first to start looking at. He was catching nothing. He's fed his margins early, he's gone down, and he's started to catch. So you can see he's hustling there now. He's just trying to get it in.
Not necessarily the sort of area that you would have thought would have been in the running early on, but you can't write anywhere off at the moment. And that first half of the match that's been tough, it's been great at the same time, because it means that nobody started running away.
Yeah, there's been no mega leaders, and everybody's trying to catch him up. Everybody has stayed really, really in touch, and we said earlier it was between 5 or 6 people. It now could be between 6, 7, 8 people who could all win it.
The fish there just in front of him, big splash coming up, and you can tell who's doing well because the crowd stands behind the angler that's doing well, and that's been in the net, out the net, in the net and out the net again, and it still isn't quite in. It's made a last bid for freedom.
Yeah, it's a proper fish that, there's no two ways about that. That is some proper kipper Pete's playing here.
You know it's a decent one when 150 yards away you can see it and you can see the splash very well, that's for sure.
That bigger splash, I think we nearly got wet from it, Rob.
Got a crowd gathering behind him now and he's got it. There's a round of applause coming through.
Nice fish.
And that's knocking on the door of double figures.
Yeah.
Well, Andy, we're looking down now on a man in an orange top rather than a red top, and this is Mark Hawthorne, who is blocker 4. Now, he's actually fishing the competition, but not the main competition, hence the different coloured bib. Just tell us what he's doing and why he's here.
Well, what we do on each of the 4 ends, we put a blocker on, which eliminates any end peg advantage for any competitor, just to make it as fair as possible. So there's no end peg advantage. Mark sits on this end, fishes a match just like normal, and they have a match between the 4 guys, or the all 4 blockers, for a little bit of cash what Phil puts into them for the day.
And these lads aren't second division anglers by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh, no,
any of these could fish in the main event, couldn't they?
Oh, they could, yeah. Any of them could be equally in the main event and even win it, you know.
Decent carp.
Nice carp, £4.
It's that man again, Pete Upperton, and he's catching from his other margin line to the right-hand side left as we look at it. So he's got both sides going.
Yeah, he's got both.
That's a big fish.
Yeah, he's got both sides feeding now. He's gone from 0 to hero. Another big fish he's playing.
Intel's coming in now that in the last 25 minutes or so he's had 4 or 5 of these creatures.
Yeah, 4 or 5, which will probably go.
Could be 20, 25 pounds, isn't it?
25 to 30, 40, 30, even £40 he could have with them 4 or 5
that
fish.
might well put him in first place now.
There's every chance.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, look at that.
That's a unit.
Get in.
That's a big fish.
That's a big fish.
Is that right down, isn't it?
Yeah, good fish.
Next put in, he's gone the other way, so he's playing tennis.
Yeah.
Left, right.
Yeah, I think we saw it, didn't we, Robbie? He's fed one line, he's gone to his other line, he's had a fish on that line, he's fed that line, he's now back onto his other. If you noticed, he just put a little kinder pot of bait in, he's followed that bait in, he's struck, he's got one.
Oh.
Here we go.
Tell you what, that's it now.
Here we go.
Oh, he's lost it. Oh, he's lost it. Would you believe it?
Oh.
Good heavens. But let's look at the positives of that. He's got them going on either side and they're in the edge, and they're big carp.
He is now in the trade, what's commonly known as hustle like a Jack Russell.
They're all down that edge on that far side now, and Lee Thornton we're looking at. He's had a bit of a run too.
Yeah, Lee had a
quicker, slightly smaller.
It's a good fish, that, Rob. I think we might be surprised when he lifts that landing net up.
Yeah, it's a good 5-6 pounds.
Yeah. This can go anywhere now. This really can go.
Let's just have a look along all of the guys on that far side. They're almost all of them fishing tight down the edge.
Yeah, I think they've all seen Pete catch 1 or 2 fish down the edge, and it's the move to put everybody down the margins. They've seen him catch a couple, and suddenly it's like game on for everybody.
My name is Peter Upperton, I'm 32 years old, I'm from Surrey and I'm a plasterer. I fish match this because obviously the prestige, it's a match that everyone wants to win, everyone wants to be part of it. Obviously the money's a major attraction as well. I think if I won the money, of course it would change my life. I would probably put it down, deposit down on a flat or something like that, whether I wanted to maybe do it up and look to sell it on or something along those lines, I should think. I think it would help your angling career. At the end of the day, you'd be absolutely everywhere. You'd be recognised amongst others across the country.
Well, Pete Upperton there.
He's in again.
We've just heard over the tannoy that's hooked another one of these very consistent. Just look at the crowd gathering behind him. They know where the fish action is on that far bank, and it is definitely I was going to say in front of Upperton, but it's not. It's both on his left and his right.
He's catching down both sides now. He's absolutely tuning them proper.
Tuning him?
Tuning them.
Big fish this. He's been playing
It's
this
a
a while.
big fish, yeah.
They can see the swirl on the surface actually from here, and that's a good 100 yards away from where we are. Just saw the boil of when the fish is deep underwater. When it moves, it flashes its tail, and that swirl of water comes to the surface. You know it's a big fish.
Yeah,
They do that from deep down.
He ain't going to rush that fish at this stage. He knows how important it is. You know, if he were behind, he might be pulling a bit harder, but he knows he's now potentially got a lead on everybody, so he'll take his time with that.
There we go. He's got it.
Oh, he's got it. Oh, a
Oh,
shuffler.
that's a big one.
Oh, it's a shuffler.
Let's have a look at Perry Stone, another man who's doing well, and he started picking him up down the edge. He's just netting that fish there. Oh, no, not quite.
No.
It's in and out. It's a good carp. Similar tactics as well down the edge.
Yeah, Perry fed his margin line quite early on in the match, and he's constantly fed it throughout. I think that's one of his first looks he's had down the edge and got one more or less straight away. Another big fish, look.
Big fish, look at that.
Yeah.
That's a cracking fish.
Ooh, tail stuck out the end of the net, proper fish.
Just looking down the whole of the match stretch on this grassy bank, and it's such a magnificent event, this, isn't it? We've got Brian Loader here, the first man in green on the left-hand side, the man from Cornwall. It was a bit of a big step for him to come up and fish up here. He was Bookie's favourite this morning as a result of his odds previously, and it's won it a couple of times, but he's not quite been on the pace. £50 though, it's very, very creditable.
Yeah, he's got £50. I've just had a little quiet word with Brian. He says, Andy, he says, I have had fish in my peg all day. They have been there, he says, and they just will not have a go off the edge of the aisle, and he's fished a lovely match. You know, he just needs that little bit of luck now to trigger him to want to have a go.
He isn't a million miles off though, is he?
He's not.
He's not a million miles off.
He's not.
And there we have him, Brian. He's in.
Here we go, he's in. Like I say, he's just chipped away nice and steady, and he's now got another fish. You know, half an hour's a long time in fishing, especially the size of the fish now, which are getting caught from down people's edges.
He's got it.
Good fish.
Now then, Andy, we've got 30 minutes left on the clock, and let's do an evaluation, and I want the Kinder estimate. We're looking across now at Frankie Gianoncelli. The early part of the game for him was absolutely poor as anything. He'd caught virtually nothing. We spoke to Lee Kerry, who said he'd got £1.4 with a couple of hours on the clock, and then he hit the carp.
Yeah, he's now certainly got £50–60 plus, and he is well up there towards winning, if not winning it.
Let's have a look at Pete Upperton. He's just landing a fish now, and by my reckoning, I think he's in the lead. That's another decent fish coming in there.
It's a big fish what Pete's got.
He's going to be £60–70 now.
Yeah, I think it's between Pete and Frankie at this stage now, and there's probably one fish separating them. One fish either way is going to decide that match.
You think Frankie's overtaken Perry?
I think he has. I think he has with the size of fish he's had. I think he's overtaken Perry. I think he's overtaken Kerry Kirkwood. We can't call this now, really, Rob. It's, you know, Pete's had a fish. He's got it in. He's back out. Frankie's still playing his fish.
That will be quite telling, actually, won't it? Oh, he's got it in.
He's got it.
It's there.
It's a good fish.
You know, we think we know who's winning, but it changes all the time. Clearly, Pete Upperton's got a big crowd behind him, but the next is behind Frankie Gianoncelli. He's had a blinder of the last part of this competition. He's been catching a carp, a chuck. They're big uns as well, and he's now starting to challenge Pete Upperton for that first place, which of course means a cool £65,000 in his pocket. There is a little over 15 minutes left now, so it's in the dying stages as we look over, and Frankie nets yet another fish. It's not as big as the others, but it all counts towards a total that may well equal a massive payout. Well, Andy, we've just heard that there is less than 30 seconds left on the clock as we look across at the crowds and Pete Upperton. He's had an absolutely sterling back half of this match.
Yeah, I think he's the man now. Nobody's going to beat him.
We've got Frankie Gianoncelli, actually, who's in, so he's playing the fish. That's it, that's the end of the competition.
That's
Pete
it.
Upperton has not got one on, however, Frankie Gianoncelli is playing a fish. There's nothing at all now that Upperton can do, nothing at all that he can do. He's done everything he can.
He's just got to watch him and hope. That's all he can do. He can watch and hope and wait for the scalesman to arrive now.
And there it is, he's got it.
He's got it.
Oh, has he got it? It's in, it's out. I thought he got it. It's that big, it's chip shot. Oh, look at that. The punch from Lee Kerry in the background said it all. That's a big fish. That is a big fish, and that may well make a difference. So here we have it, the moment of truth. This is the way of Frankie Gianoncelli. That's 21 kilo 460 on the first net. 21 kilo 460. So we have 21 kilos. He doesn't need too much to overtake, and unquestionably this will take the lead.
$19 kilo 300.
19 kilo 300. That makes 40 kilo 760. That is the current leading weight. We think there may be one weight further down the bank that might be higher than that. At the moment we don't know, but 40 kilos is now in the lead. It's very, very tight here. We know 40 kilo 760 is it. We've got Bob Dyer probably making the most important view that he's ever made in the history of watching weights. There is £65,000 on this weigh. Everything has to be spot on.
11 kilo 600.
11 kilo 600. That makes 31 kilo 700. So 31 kilo 700. We have 40 kilo 760. He needs 10 kilo and 60 grams to take the match this title. And of course, that check. There is one more way after this. 10 kilos. What is it? There's a smile from the scalesman. What's it going to be? Let's hear the announcement. What is it? 13 kilos.
It doesn't seem real still. It's, well, obviously, I knew that I needed another 10 kilo to win at the end. Andy Kinder just asked me what I thought I had in that net, and I thought I had 10 kilo. I don't even know what it went. I know that one way went 13 and whatever the last fish was, so unbelievable.
Either way, it was enough. Ladies and gentlemen, the new Match This champion.
Right, in third place, picking up £3,000, Lee Thornton. In second place, picking up £5,000, Frankie Gianoncelli.
Frankie.
In first place, picking up £65,000, Match This champion 2015, Peter Upperton.
Pete Upperton. What can we say? You've got a massive amount of money in your pocket. You've got a lovely trophy in your hand, but I'm going to take that away from you. Congratulate you once more and say, off you go.